Furnished apartment, average cost is $821 per month per person. A 3-3 or a triple occupancy furnished apartment on average is $774 per month per person. A quad or 4-bedroom, 4-bath occupancy furnished apartment on average is $760 per month. $760 per month per person. These data are from Housing Residence Life and the ARS reporting system through ASSET, A-S-S-E-T. This is a private vendor who conducts market study research for housing developments across the nation. Based upon my data for off-campus housing within a 3 to 5 mile radius of campus, there are approximately 19 conventional or unconventional apartments around and near the campus with 21,175 bed spaces. And there are 17 unconventional or furnished apartments with 17,862 bed spaces, bringing the grand total to 26 apartments with 39,037 bed spaces around and near UCF. Yet, with respect to impact, there's, however, a downside. The question of affordable housing, that is, some degree of homelessness among UCF students. My office receives and processes cases of pending or immediate homelessness. We define a state of homelessness by inability to pay rent, utilities, fees, etc., which lead to or result in some stage of eviction, or the need to move frequently, or the state of couch surfing or sleeping in one's car. I've just been given the signal and I will obey that. I have some other data that I will talk about much later. Thank you for your time and your attention.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So one of the things that Assistant Vice President Rage focused on was this 3 to 5 mile radius. We also know that UCF grows faster, perhaps, than the available affordable housing in the area. So what that means is that our county commissioners are responsive to the issues of representing an area that includes a large and growing university, and also having constituents to whom she has to answer as well when they have concerns about issues relating to perhaps younger people with younger people's habits living in their neighborhood. So I'm so glad that we have the opportunity this evening to hear from Commissioner Emily Bonilla, who will speak to her role in navigating these different forces in our community. Commissioner Bonilla.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm really excited to be here because I am also a UCF graduate, and I feel like I'm back home. And no pun intended, but I'm going to bring this conversation home. So my name is Commissioner Emily Bonilla. I'm from District 5. UCF is in my district. It's the county district. And I'm sure you don't care about where the other areas are because you're concerned about what's here. And so that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to bring this back home here is that I was also a homeless student in college. So I was couch surfing when I was going to community college, and I had to go to a university that had dorms because I needed a steady place to live. So I moved into these dorms, and let me tell you that me and my roommate was so starving that we finally had some money. We pawned a microwave from her grandmother to buy some groceries, and that ham and cheese sandwich was the best ham and cheese sandwich I have ever eaten because I was so hungry. So student debt is an issue that comes out of this affordable housing crisis for students. I have a lot of student debt because I had to use that to try to live and to try to go to school, and it was very difficult. And the problem that we're having too, back then when I was in school, tuition was a lot less than what it is now. And the increase in tuition has gone up so much and so fast. And when you're out of college, then most of your income is going to go to paying off that student loan, which is going to increase your chances of needing affordable housing even more after you graduate. So you're in this perpetual situation, and it doesn't seem like there's any way out, unfortunately. And on the federal level, it's been very difficult to get student loan forgiveness too. So I really hope that that changes, but I'm not very optimistic. And I would like to say we had a lot of numbers discussed here, but we did have this report come out from the previous mayor, the Affordable Housing Initiative. And when this had come out, we were going through the numbers, and I think the most important numbers are these two numbers here. I said, so right here it says housing units, 508,562. I'm like, is that number right? They're like, yeah, that number's right. I'm like, are you sure? Like, yeah, that number's right. And I asked them, okay, so total households, 352,538. Are you sure that number is correct? And they're like, yes, it is correct. And the whole conversation up to that point was that we didn't have enough housing stock, and that's why we had a housing crisis. Now, you're all university students, you can do some math, right? This is simple math, subtraction. What's the difference between 508,000 and 352,000? You want to yell it out? Because I'm not a student anymore, I can't do math anymore. All right, so it's about 200,000, right? And that's about 200,000 more housing units than households. So when they're saying that we don't have enough housing stock, and that's the problem of our housing, that's the cause of our housing crisis, how does that make any sense? After that, the conversation started changing to, well, we have a housing stock of affordable housing units. I'm like, okay, there you go. That's what we should be talking about. Not building more units, because we have the developers, they come in and they keep saying, oh, please do not raise our impact fees. Because if you raise the impact fees, then we're not going to be able to build more. That will stifle our development and the growth, and we'll have less units and you'll have a bigger housing crisis. So I was like, okay, well, since 2011, your impact fees have been discounted to 56%. Since then, where's all the affordable housing? Because as we just can see, we have housing units, we don't have affordable housing units, so has that helped you create more affordable housing? No, it hasn't. So then the conversation started changing. Well, we have the missing middle, which is what was discussed in the first presentation, the duplexes, the townhomes, because we're having all these McMansions being built. And let's go back to those McMansions, right? Why do you think that was happening? Well, when we had the Great Recession, the county needed some property taxes because we were really hurting. So that pushed the county to approve more luxury housing so that we could have more property taxes coming to be able to pay for all of the expenses we have as a county. So then we ended up with the problem that now we have all this expensive housing, and now we have missing middle, nothing in the middle. And also they stopped building more affordable housing, and there's more details into that which I'm not going to get into. But now we're in this situation where we have the missing middle, and now the developers are coming up and saying, well, we need to be able to build more duplexes, more townhomes, more of that missing middle. But when I asked, is it affordable? They're like, oh, well, it's market rate. Has anyone ever heard that before, market rate? So what market rate means is whatever the market's willing to pay for it. But the reality is whatever they're willing to put a price on it for. So I call it like, they say it's like mortgage fraud, but now it's also happening with rentals. And I'll give you an example in a second. But they could build a subdivision and they could put whatever price they want on this house because there isn't any appraisals that they get comparables in the area because it's a brand new subdivision. So they market these subdivisions out to people in New York or California, or, Silicon Valley, people who just sell their house and pay off the house, no questions asked here. And once they get those houses sold, then they have comparables, and then they can put whatever price on the others that it's a higher price. Same thing's something's happening with rentals, and I couldn't tell you how it's happening because I don't understand. But I had and I'm running for re-election, and my canvassers were out knocking on doors in this neighborhood. It was in College Park, and there was a single-family house that's being rented for $1,500. In the same neighborhood where they built the missing middle, it was duplexes, townhomes, they're renting out for $3,800 in the same neighborhood. So when they say that, oh, we need to build more duplexes and townhomes because it's a missing middle and it'll help with our affordable housing crisis, but it's at market rate, it's really not solving our issues. So what we really do need is true affordable housing. We need the Sadowski Fund. It needs to be funded and needs to stop being swiped. I call it swiper like swipers stop swiping because they keep stealing the money out of that fund. The real term is sweeping though. And we really need the local government to come up with some solutions, some creative solutions. I have been doing these affordable housing tours in Tennessee, in DC, I did one in Miami as well, and they're all coming up with different solutions to solve their problems, and they're not waiting for their states to solve the problem. In Tennessee, they have a lot of same issues that we do here in Florida, where the state legislators just make it more and more difficult for them to do affordable housing. So they're actually paying for it out of their own pockets. So one last thing I'm going to close out. So when it comes to student housing, it's very difficult for students to qualify for affordable housing because of the requirements. There's restrictions on availability due to, you can't be full or part-time student, you have to be full or part-time student over the age of 24 and be married or have dependent children. So a lot of students do not qualify for affordable housing. And so we really do need, and I hope the university doesn't get mad at me for saying this, but we really do need the university to build more student housing, more dorms, in order to be able to provide that affordable student housing. It was a blessing for me, like I said, I was couch surfing, and the solution for me was a dorm. So we really do need some more dorms. So some of the universities to start building more. Full Sail University, which is a private university, actually started to build their own dorms, which they've never done before. So they're providing some solutions for their students, and we need that to continue forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Bonilla. We're now going to transition to the question and answer component of our program. The intent would be for you to ask whatever question that you'd like to ask. If you'd like to ask a question of a particular person or the whole panel, please make that known.